Good morning, here is the Breville Barista Express 870. In this video I'll be making my morning coffee on it. So as you saw in the photos, it's in okay condition, not the best, but that's just on the outside. So it's on the front you've got dents from the portafilter and the cups hitting, a few scratches. On the back as well, a few dents here and scratches. But it's a used machine, you will always, it's impossible to keep it scratch free. The important thing is that it works fine. I just did a service on it yesterday. I've fully tested the pressure, calibrated the grinder, checked for steam and water leaks, and tested the volumetric dosing. Everything seems to be fine. So I disassembled the machine, had a deep look at the machine, and there were no issues. And that's the important bit. And I think I also changed the group head seal. The old one was a bit loose. So now it's going to be working all good. When I first start making a coffee, I like to warm up the machine. You can warm up the machine either by letting it sit like this for 20 minutes. And if you keep the handle on, you also warm up the handle. So now it's not nice and warm. The machine has been on for like 10 minutes now. You can also warm it up by running a blank shot. So a blank shot means no coffee in the handle, just the handle itself and the cup underneath, and press the double button. And this is going to warm it up nicely. It'll also clean any like coffee or oils that are stuck in the shower screen. So I like to do this step every time. Just having a look at the grind size. Looks okay. This is grind size number 8. We'll make a coffee with it, and if we need to go finer or coarser, we'll adjust accordingly. So you can do this one more time. Let's try this one. Excellent. I'll keep this on the side. Drain the water. Grab a tissue to dry the portafilter. Excuse me. So this is the double basket. The machine also comes with a single basket. These are dual wall baskets, so they have 2 layers of metal. They will be easier to use than the other types of baskets called the single wall baskets. Let's grind some coffee. So I'll keep this on, let's say, the 11 o'clock position. This is grind size 8. Seven and a half, so we should be getting 15 if we do this twice. After your first dose, tamp it lightly like this. Do it again. Didn't mention this at the beginning of the video, but also in the photos and in the description I mentioned something about the handle having a small crack. It's very, very small. I don't know, you probably can't even see it. It's just like very thin and near the rubber here. It doesn't affect anything. The handle is very, stuck in place. It's not going to fall off. It's just a small tiny crack. And there's also a tiny crack at the top of the water tank. So this also doesn't affect anything. It doesn't leak, and I've filled it to the very, very top, and it hasn't leaked one drop. So it's just cosmetic. I've also added a bit of tape just to be safe, I guess, but it won't leak, that's for sure. So after you grind your second dose, I'm I'm gonna measure again, so we have about 15 and a half. I'll top it up to 16. And to 16, exactly 16 grams. Before I tamp it with the tamper here, I'll just spread it with my fingers so that we can get even pressure all around. You can do this on the bench. I like to do it in the air just because I'm doing the video. Make sure you press nice and firmly. Make it flat all around. And if there is any gaps, just press a bit harder. Yeah, this looks good. If you don't have a scale, that's fine. You can just use the settings that we did now. 11 o'clock and do it twice. That'll give you about 15 and a half grams. You can also look at the tamper. If the silver part on the tamper disappears, that means you have the correct amount of coffee. So just like this, it sits flush, and that's how you know you have the correct amount of coffee. Lock it in all the way. Make sure the edges are clean, then lock it in all the way. Or until it's tight, which is just before all the way. And now you're ready to make a coffee. So, you've also got a hot water spout here. You can get clean hot water right from the boiler without having to go through the grip head. You can use this for making long black coffees, tea bags. In my case, I use it to dissolve a bit of sugar at the bottom of my cup. If you like sweetener or syrups or sugar, add it now before the espresso so that it mixes nicely when the espresso is brewing. I'm also going to measure the output. So we measured the input at 16 grams. I'll measure the output as well. We want to double the output. So we put in 16, we want to double that into 30 grams. That's 30 grams of espresso in the cup. And I'll also show you how to reprogram the button. I'll reprogram the double button for you to the correct size for this basket, which is 30 grams like we just discussed. I'll press program. Then I'll press the button I want to program. Hopefully this process should take about 25 seconds, give or take. Looking good, 12 o'clock pressure, nice and steady. So we're at 22 seconds now. That's 35 grams, so a bit more than I wanted, but that's still fine. We have a good amount of crema. It was nice pressure as well. It was symmetrical flow. What we can do is we can slow it down. So we got 35 grams in 22 seconds. If we want to get 30 grams in 25 seconds, we'll have to go 1 or 2 numbers finer on the grind size. So instead of grind size 7, we'll try grind size instead of grind size 8, we'll try grind size 7 and then grind size 6, whichever suits you best. But even at this setting, it's absolutely fine. This shot is probably very good. It looks very good based on the numbers. So yeah, you don't have to turn this into a science and be very specific about the numbers. Basically, this much coffee in 20-25 seconds is good enough for most people. But if you want to be particular about it, get a scale, get a timer, and aim for 25 seconds for 30 grams. And of course, I can do this again. I can grind a bit finer and try again, but it'll be sort of work. It's a waste of time because when you get the machine, you probably will be using different beans that are different age. than what I'm using now. So there's no need for me to do that. I'll let you get the machine. I've hopefully gotten the settings close enough for you in terms of the grind amount, grind size, and brew amount. Make a coffee like as is, and if you're happy, keep it. If you need to change it, ask me and I'll help you do that. Yeah, this is tastes good as well, if I'm being honest. Now we steam the milk. So I'm just gonna grab my milk jug and fill it about halfway with cold full cream milk. Maybe do the cleaning. Let's do the cleaning before steaming. Get the portafilter, knock it out. And then give it a quick rinse. You can rinse it either at the sink. What I like to do is do this. This is a nice piece of advice because you're washing the shower screen, you're washing the portafilter in one motion, so it's quite efficient. The only thing is that your drip tray will fill quicker if you do this, obviously. And you can store it like here, you can put it down, it's up to you. If you're making another coffee, I guess keep it there. Next, steaming. So turning on the steamer, it'll take about 15 seconds to start steaming. You have to learn the technique if you haven't used a coffee machine like this before. Basically put the wand close to the tip, put the wand at an angle in the jug and keep the milk spinning in a vortex and keep the tip of the milk close to the surface of the milk so that it sort of blows in air bubbles into the milk. I'm going to turn it off. It'll give you 5 seconds before you can turn it back on. So put it at an angle, keep the tip close to the surface and keep it spinning. Stay at the surface for maybe 10 seconds. And raise the jug. You don't want to stay at the surface for too long, otherwise your milk will be too bubbly, too thick, and it will turn into a cappuccino, or maybe more than that. And when the jug is too hot to the touch, that's when you turn it off. Quickly wipe the wand so that the milk doesn't stick on it. And then give it a purge. Just like that to clear the insides of any milk so that your milk wand doesn't get stuck and clogged. If it does get clogged, it's not a good thing. It will build pressure all through the wand and it may make your machine leak. So try to keep it clean, wipe it when you're done, purge it when you're done. These are the most important things. And yeah, that's a coffee finished on the Barista Express. Let's just pour the milk. I think we got a very thick foam. This could be a cappuccino, not a latte. I'm knocking the jug on the counter just to break any big air bubbles. No latte art for me today, unfortunately. That's okay. It's sort of a latte cappuccino thingy that we made today. Here it is. Whoops. Looks good in terms of the thickness of the foam. If you're skilled, if you've had any barista training, you can easily achieve latte art textures and draw latte patterns. But yeah, I think you can make better coffees than me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Cheers.